Hello everyone and welcome back to Basic Photoshop Tutorials. This week we'll be working on a page curl effect, so let's get to it. First thing you want to do is with your image selected, grab the marquee tool, make sure it's the rectangle marquee, and just draw out a small square in the bottom right corner, or whatever corner it is you want to do the page curl in. Okay? And now we're going to go to Edit, Transform, and Warp. Now those of you using anything less than CS2 won't have the Warp tool, so you'll have to use your pen tool. So once the warp is selected, select the bottom right corner of that warp and just drag it upwards as I am doing here. There we go. If you want to change that angle anymore, just grab the corners and go ahead and play around with it. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Just hit OK and Control D to get rid of our marquee. And now you notice we have a little bit of a page flip happening here, a little curl happening, but it still doesn't look realistic. So we're going to take it a step further. We're going to zoom in on that curl already. And we're going to go ahead and grab the pen tool and make sure you have the paths selected and not shape layers. And we're just going to draw around the edge that we just created. Okay, so you're just going to go ahead and draw around like I'm doing here. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it just follow the contours a bit of what we created. Okay. And you can always come back and change these lines if you're not happy with the lines. Obviously, I'm going to have to do that. And we're just going to finish it off right there. Now, obviously, I'm not happy with those lines. Grab the direct selection tool and just play around with your lines until you have them the way you want them. Now, in this case, I want to drop it a little lower than the original. And what I mean by that is I want to drop this line a little lower than the original because the warp tool does tend to get rid of a bit there. So we want a little more of a page curl happening. So keep it a little bit below our original page curl line. And with the corner here, I'm just going to fix this to follow along that line a little better. And again, you guys can play around with this all you want. It's sort of just an outline for you. There we go. So we have it set up the way we want. Go to your paths, right click, make selection, hit OK, and you'll notice the marquee comes up. Now we go back to layers, create a new layer, grab your paint bucket tool. In this case, my background is white. So I want to make sure I have white selected, and I'm just going to fill that in. Hit Control D, get rid of that marquee, and right away you'll notice we have a bit of a page curl happening already. But again, we want to take it even a step further, okay? So what we're going to do is right-click, go to your blending options, and we're just going to add a gradient to that layer. Now this is where you get to play around and choose the settings you like so that you think it looks the way realistic as possible. In this case, I'm just going to put it at 126 is my angle, 78 is my scale, and I'm choosing black to white in this case because that's the color of that I wanted. And opacity, bring it down to about a 75, 76. Okay, hit OK. And again, we're going to take it even a step further. We're going to add a nice little drop shadow. So again, blending options, drop shadow. And this, again, you're going to play around with this until you find the correct drop shadow or the one that looks best to you. Okay? And again, you can even, take this a step further and grab a brush and go in there and do it yourself. But for now, that looks pretty good. And that's pretty much all I want to do with that page curl. So I have a nice little drop shadow underneath where the page is happening. And depends on where, if you're looking at it closely, you can see a bit of the drop shadow on the back of where the curl is happening here on the image. And again, like I said, you could take this a step further. You can grab a brush and you can go in, create new layers, and just draw a nice little drop shadows and whatever it is shadowing you want to put in. So for now, that's how we'll leave it. Again, play around with it. There's a nice little page curl for you. And make sure you rate, subscribe, comment if you have any. If you want me to do a certain Photoshop tutorial for you, also let me know and I'll take a look. So thanks again. I'll see you again.